Good day. I am Peter Rony, and I live in Blacksburg, Virginia. This is my signature initial slide. The smiley yellow balls gives you the hint that I can say anything here that I want, even if it has no connection to the subject of my video. Well, here is who I am. I'm a chemical engineer by profession. I have been a professional for 36 years. Right now, 2015, I'm Professor Emeritus of Chemical Engineering at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia. My email address is peter@rony.com. I'm a 76-year-old geezer, and I am not expected to become a social networker. I am not. But I've been using email continuously since 1980. The subject of this YouTube video is an interesting subject, I believe, and it is 2, 3, and 4-bit encoding tables. I think with this video you may begin to get some insight into what is a computer. Here's my favorite image on teaching what is a computer. And I have to be careful not to spend too much time on this image. What I'm going to discuss in this video is on the left, the encode process, where we take information that we are familiar with and have been familiar with for centuries, our numbers, symbols, images, speech, music, mathematics, words, alphabetic characters, procedures. And I'm going to show you some examples, some simple examples, how you can convert this type of information to what is called binary information. Another word, a broader word, is input data, which goes into a process function. And a piece of hardware is called a microprocessor. It's very small, very inexpensive, and there are between tens and billions of these microprocessors in this world today. I say billions. So I'm not going to talk about the process function. The decode function is the reverse of the encode function. So I think you will begin to get insight into both by me focusing on the encode function, which is necessary to start the operation of any computer. I want to introduce the word category. You'll see this word throughout this video presentation, and the question I ask, and you should ask, is why should we select a category? Because in order to encode a group of items, you need to select a group of related items. Related, similar. Well, here is a category that I call compass directions. Well, the main compass directions are north, south, east, and west. And with these 4, you need 2 bits to uniquely characterize for a microprocessor these 4 directions. The next category is playing card suits. And what is a suit? Well, I give a Google example description at the bottom. Club, diamond, heart, spade. These are the 4 categories found in a deck of cards. Well, there are 4 suits, so you need 2 bits to give each suit a unique binary characterization. Here is a subject that may not be familiar to you, but these are called bases in DNA, and DNA is the memory molecule of life. When a cell divides, it creates a second cell that has an identical DNA. So the components of DNA are 4 molecules called guanine, adenine, cytosine, and thymine. And these 4 can be organized along the DNA polymer in any combination, and the specific combinations are the essence of life. Well, we have only four, so we can code these 4 uniquely using 2 bits. Now, the more familiar mathematical operations. There are 4 of them: add, subtract, multiply, divide. We can give a unique binary code, a 2-bit code, to each of these 4 operations. Now we make a change. We have the category of days of the week. There are only 7 of them. So what do we do with the 8th position of a 3-bit encoding table? Well, we don't use it. Okay, parts of a sentence. Verb, noun, adjective, or adverb, or preposition, or conjunction. There's 6 of them. To encode the 6, we need a 3-bit binary code. And since there are only 6 parts, 2 of these code positions are blank, or not used, as shown by the dashes. What we have, a beer facility that to produce a private beer sold in limited quantities, we need 8 different machines. And here they are on the left. Well, to encode these 8 different machines, we need a 3-bit binary code, and it is shown on the right. Each machine has its own unique binary code. Let's take a robot arm, which are now very popular, widely used in industry. So we have 6 motions and 1 additional input called do not move. There's 6 different moves and 1 do not move. The total is 7, and one of the binary amounts is missing. So we only have 7 different encoding items. Here is a rotating shaft position. For example, when any cylindrical object rotates, let's say automobile tire in a garage shop, we can determine the degree of rotation and encode that degree into 3-bit binary. It's a rather crude encoding, but when we have 1 full revolution, we go from 0 degrees at the beginning to 360 degrees at the end. And in this example, we provide a total of 8 pie-shaped sections, and we use 3-bit binary to encode these 8 sections. Well, we need not limit ourselves to 3-bit binary. We could use 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, even 16 binary bits. The more bits, the finer our encoding of the position of the wheel from beginning to end. This is one of my favorite encoding devices. It's called a 7-segment display. And here is how it works. To get any number between 0 and 9, you selectively light one or more, actually 2 or more segments, which means we've got 8-bit positions, and if we have a logic 1, then the segment is lit. If we have a logic 0, it is unlit. We actually have 7 segments, but we also have at the bottom right a dot, a period. So let me show you how this works. So here are the numbers 0 through 9 using a 7-segment display. Isn't that clever? Such a simple idea. It's used everywhere. You see it as red light-emitting diodes on small items of electronic equipment, and then you see it also on computer screens. 7-segment display. Really a wonderful idea. Well, another category is months. Well, we have 12 months, and that means we need a 4-bit binary code. Such a code can encode, in theory, 16 different items. But here we only need 12, so 4 of the 16 positions are not used. Here is a popular category. It's called binary coded decimal, or BCD. So what we take here are the decimal numbers 0 through 9 and convert each into a 4-bit binary code. And here they are on the right column. Binary coded decimal, used everywhere. Now let's say you have a ruler, an English ruler, which is used in England, the United States, and probably Australia and New Zealand. Now an English ruler is different than a metric ruler, which is used in Europe. A metric ruler has units of millimeters and centimeters, not inches and fractions of an inch. But here we have fractions of an inch. And between 0 and 15/16 of an inch, we have a 4-bit binary code for increments of a 1/16 of an inch. So that's how we take fractions of an inch and turn them into binary code. Okay, I've shown you some examples of 2-bit, 3-bit, and 4-bit binary encoding tables. Well, would you like to create your own encoding table? Certainly you would. And by doing so, you will understand better what we mean by an encoding table. Before you create any encoding table, you must select a category of similar or related items or alternatives. And some of these items can be represented by words, nouns, adjectives, or verbs. Well, to start your encoding table, you must pick 2 or more items in your category. if you have 2, 4, 8, or 16 items, then you need 1, 2, 3, or 4 bits, respectively. But if you have a number of items that differs from 2, 4, 8, or 16, then you will have empty positions in your encoding table. One example is 7 days in a week, or another one is 7-segment display. Well, I've talked about category, and let me, at the end of this video, emphasize why is category important. And it's important because you need a group of related or similar types of items. Let me give you one example. The category of farm animals. So what items can you have on a farm? Cows, pigs, chickens, goats, and sheep. Now, let's say you're sort of goofy and you don't understand category, and you pick the following group of animals. Lion, boa constrictor from South America, ostrich from Africa, kangaroo from Australia, yak from Nepal. Well, all of these items are in the category of animals, but they are not in the category of farm animals. So let me illustrate a situation where you can practice encoding. And for you, a teacher, this is a situation that you face every day. So if you are teaching computers to your class, here's how I suggest that you dedicate a couple of days. First, you know how many students. Each student must be given a binary encoded value. And depending on the number of students, you will need either a 4-bit or a 5-bit binary code. For example, consider a classroom with 24 students. I give these 24 names on the following image. Well, the first 16 students can have 4-bit encoding, but for students 17 through 24, you must have 5-bit encoding. Well, using 4 and 5-bit encoding isn't a good idea, so you should give all students 5-bit encoding. So here is a sample table with both 4 and 5-bit encoding. The top 16 students have 4-bit encoding, and the bottom 8 have 5-bit encoding. It's not a good idea to mix the number of bits, so we can convert all 24 students to 5-bit encoding, which I've shown here. Okay, now, I assume that all 24 of your students have a 5-bit code, and each student knows his or her code. Now, what types of exercise can we perform? Well, they're sort of fun, and they certainly make the point of using encoding table and not binary mathematics is the way to begin to understand why a computer works. So here's the first exercise. You, the teacher, would show a 5-bit binary number and ask the identified student to respond by saying, "Yo!" And how will the student know his or her 5-bit binary number? Because he or she has a printed copy. And once he or she receives it, can circle the name and the code. Okay, another exercise. One student states a 5-bit binary number and asks the correct student to respond by saying, "I am here." Another exercise. One student names another student and asks the student to state his or her 5-bit binary code. Or finally, let's get back to the teacher. The teacher does an attendance analysis of the students in the classroom. So the way the teacher does this is she will read 5-bit codes in sequence from 5-bit zeros to 5-bit 10111. And when a specific code is stated, the identified student states present. I thank you for viewing this encoding table video. I am creating it on August 1st, 2015. Now, I have strong views about how to teach what a computer is. And in my opinion, this is the way to start the teaching of what is a computer. I recommend to you that you should start with the processes of encode and decode. Then you should add the process of process, the function of process, and then you conclude by stating that the combination of the encode, process, and decode functions describe any computer among the 10 to 20 billions of computers that exist in 2015. Now, the way of teaching a computer in the past has been to focus on mathematics, namely the ability of computer to compute. Well, in my opinion, that is the wrong focus. You should not start teaching what is a computer in that way. I end by thanking you again.